Let's practice. So let's start with your feet together and then hip width apart, shoulder width apart. Just notice the differences. If your feet are together, stand for a moment, check out your breathing and the sensation in your lower back, sacrum area. And now set your feet hip width apart. And when I say hip width apart, I'm referring to the hip joints where the thigh bone comes into the pelvis, that place where you bend from. Mark that line and align the knee and the second toe, one continuous line, so your feet are directly under your hip joints. And set your feet parallel. Sometimes people naturally stand kind of with your feet at an angle. Set your feet hip width apart, parallel, and sink a little bit, almost like you're getting ready to jump into the air. Sink and rise. Sink a little bit, the hips bend, the knees bend. You might feel a little bit of bending in the ankles. And then stand up like a slow motion jump. And feel that extension through your spine. You get tall. This time, let's match it with your breathing. Inhale and sink. Exhale and rise. And you can breathe at your own pace, slower than me, faster than me, whatever works for you. All right. And now shift your weight a little bit into the left foot. This is my left foot. And then shift your weight a little into the right foot. And just notice how you do that. There's a couple different ways that one could shift weight. Does your head move through space? Are you kind of swaying like a tree? So your head goes from point A to point B. If you sway like this, you may notice movement in your ankle joints, movement in your feet, but not a lot of movement up here, right? Now come back to center. Try to sense when your weight is even between the 2 feet. Center. Now this time, shift your weight into the left foot, but in a way that keeps your head almost in the same place in space. So you're going to bend in the standing leg, bend the knee, and let the other leg get kind of light. The heel gets light. And sense how you can use your ribs and your spine to kind of bring yourself into that left foot. And your head will move a little bit. I mean, you don't have to keep it in a vice, but find that movement in the ribs, spine, so you kind of shift your weight into the left, and your right foot is just light enough. You could tap the ground, you can maybe slide your foot. There's a lightness there. But your head is basically on that center line. Just shifts a little bit. Difference between this kind of movement versus this shifting and sinking. All right, come back to center. Feel your weight even left to right. Breathe and shift your weight into the right leg. Lightening up the left foot, just enough that you could slide the foot or tap the ground lightly. Check out your balance in that right foot and sense the relationship between your right eye, right hip, right knee, and right foot. Are you positioned almost as if you're ready to hop up and down? Could you stand on one leg here? and shift your weight back to center. And now let's go back and forth a couple of times and sense the movement in your ribs and spine as you shift into the left, you shift into the right. Find that sense of stability. Yeah, I'm fully here in my left. I could jump up and down. I could hop up and down. I could stand on one leg. There's a through line. And then come to the right. And there you are. A solidity through that right side and a lightness in the left half of your body. One more time. Bring yourself into the left. Lighten up the right. And this time, slide your foot a little bit forward and a little bit back. Imagine that your feet are on skis or rails, so they stay parallel. As you step back, you maintain that space that you had here, hip width apart. In other words, when you step back, notice whether your foot goes back behind you or if you have a tendency to step out and away. Can you sense when your foot is going straight back? You might be able to see yourself if you have a camera or a mirror at home, but you can develop this sense of where your foot is relative to your other body parts, even when you can't see it. I wouldn't recommend closing your eyes because that can compromise your balance. Slide the foot and return. Slide it straight back. And make good use of that little exercise of breathing and shifting your weight so you're clearly solid in the standing foot before you send that foot back. Back to center again. And this time, form an intention that you're going to shift your weight into the left and slide your foot forward. And then do it. Recenter. Step back. And recenter. Step forward. And recenter. Shift your weight into the right. Slide the left foot forward. And bring your weight into that foot enough that the front knee bends, the thigh is strong, you can feel that thigh muscle working, and your feet are parallel to the best of your ability. And then come back to center, sliding the foot each time. Recenter, start fresh, bring your weight into the right, and slide the left foot straight back. It can be a big step, it can be a little step, whatever's comfortable for you. Slide the foot to return. Reallocate your weight to center up. All right, this time we're going to slide the right foot back. So bring your weight into the left, slide that right foot back, and then as you recenter, actually go through that neutral point and slide forward. Return to center and keep going through to the back. Be aware of that center neutral position as you slide forward. Recenter briefly, a sense of stability here, and slide back. So you're passing through the zero neutral starting position seamlessly, smoothly, but with a sense of rock solid kind of stability. Not rigid, but good, solid connection to the ground here. Sliding the foot. One side strong, holding you, supporting you. The other one free to move. Free to slide forward, free to slide back. And this next time, form the intention you're going to shift over and let's slide the front foot forward. Pass through the beginning, starting position, and slide back. Come to return, but keep going through. So in your mind, you mark that plane that's neither forward nor back, but just centered. Here's 0, neither forward nor back. And then here's back. So you can almost imagine that coronal plane extending left to right, if that is neutral or 0 or the beginning, and you come forward, pass through it, and go back. And if you're starting to feel comfortable with the balance and the smoothness, you can speed it up a little bit. Your right leg is working, it's keeping you supported. You can feel your leg working, and you're sliding the left foot forward and back. If you speed up, just notice whether you start to compromise the sense of dynamic stability. Are you falling your way into your leg? Are you dropping back into the back foot? Or are you maintaining this clear sense that you could pause anywhere along the way and you're stable? Start to come forward, pause, come back. This leg is solid, it's holding you. Maintain a dynamic stability throughout the motion. And you'll find this leg is working. It might get tired. All right, come back to center for a moment and just kind of shift your legs back and forth. I almost imagine how a cat kind of shifts from one paw to the other, kind of shift from one foot to the other. Breathe, center for a moment. And now let's bring in the sensation of the breath and matching it to your movement, and then also your eyes. So intention, vision, breath are going to kind of fold in and align with that lower body motion. And then we'll bring in the upper body movement in a minute. So where do you place your eyes? Sometimes when we're learning something new, we look around, look down at your feet. Well, that's going to affect your balance. So you have a sense of that. We've done the movement several times. This time, bring your eyes up to the horizon, eye level. Use your far vision, like you're looking way out over the ocean to see where the ocean meets the sky. Look way out. Keep your eyes at that eye level so you're not looking down or up really, but straight out. And notice whether you harden your eyes like you're staring, or can you really soften them and kind of open up your vision, almost like you're taking in everything in your peripheral vision. You could even try that, checking out what is in your peripheral vision. Let your eyes be soft, but broad. Your vision broad. Okay, so let's bring your weight into the front leg and breathe in and slide forward. Breathe out and come back to center. Then breathe in and step back. Breathe out and come forward. Let's shift to the other side. So we're kind of marking the territory here. Breathe in and slide forward. Breathe out and return. Breathe in and slide back. Breathe out and return. Breath, vision, legs. And for now, just kind of keep your hands at your hips. This time, let's breathe in and slide back. Return as you exhale. Breathe in and slide forward. Breathe out and return. Breathe in and slide back. Breathe out and return. Breathe in and slide forward. Breathe out and return. This time, breathe in and slide forward. Breathe out and slide all the way back. So you breathe in and come forward and slide back and exhale. Feel the strength in your legs. Exhale. Feel the strength in your front leg. Front leg is bent. Your weight is forward in the sense that your front leg is supporting you mostly. Still have a good connection through the back foot. Slide in, inhale, slide back, and exhale. In, out. And let's change over. This time, left foot slides forward, inhale, slide back as you exhale. Inhale, exhale. Note whether the center line of your body stays. Does it track along the center line? I have a blue line on the floor just as a reference. Can you mobilize one half? Use the other half to stabilize the movement. Keep it smooth, strong, aligned with your breath. You're getting closer to the horizon, the ocean, and then step back to the shore. Inhale, exhale. Feel the strength in your leg. All right, back to center. Just a couple times on the other side to kind of even out. And back to center. Inhale and sink. Exhale and rise. Okay, let's bring in the arm motion. And you may remember from last time, and I've got my left hand here. I'm going to bring my hands together in front of my center line here. And then let's work with just the left hand. So you keep it in front of your center line. The fingers come up to make this little shape, a little radial deviation, right? The thumb comes a little closer to the elbow, but it's lined up in front of you, a little bit closer to your sternum, maybe. It's a better way to think of it. And then from there, rotate in the shoulder to come up. And use your spine. So you kind of open up your rib cage, open up your chest, and then let the arm fall back to your belly. Inhale and raise. Exhale and cut. And as you cut or finish, don't let this happen. Don't break at the wrist here. Keep the wrist neutral so it goes from here to here, but not to there. Does that make sense? Fingers up, here, and come down and back to neutral. Right. Let's try it on the right side. Inhale, fingers come up, create the rounded shape in your wrist, to the top of the head, and feel that easy rotation in the shoulder as you bring your hand down. You don't have to reach out too far. You don't have to bring it in. Just find where the easy range for you to go from your pelvis or belly here up to the center line, defined by your spine, to the very top of your head, the crown of your head. Here. And as you raise and you inhale, Make good use of the ribs, the spine to extend. Make sure you're looking way out across the ocean, that feeling of far vision. And relax as you bring it down. All right, so let's just incorporate this into our prior motion. Like a little cat, I'm going to move left and right, back and forth. And let's just walk through it for a moment. So we're going to mobilize the left side, stabilize through the right. I'm going to use my left hand to raise, inhale, step forward, and then step back and cut as you exhale. So we'll do inhale, and then exhale. Inhale and raise, exhale and cut. Inhale as you step forward, exhale as you step back. Remember, your weight is in the forward leg. Now my left is the forward leg. As I step back, the right is now the forward leg, strong in the front leg. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You can go slower or faster, whatever's good for you. Back to center. Let's do the right side. And let's change the pattern a little bit. So we're going to raise and inhale as you step back. Then as you exhale, step forward and cut. Inhale, raise as you step back. Forward, exhale, cut. Inhale, exhale. Raise, cut. Raise, cut. Stepping back as I raise, stepping forward as I cut. And back to center for a moment. Let's add the other hand. So the hands will be in front. They'll both come up to the top of your head. Requires a little something different in your chest, the upper part of your spine, the ribs. How do you keep the openness and mobility in your shoulder as you bring the base of the thumbs up to the crown of the head? And then trace that line, that sagittal line, front of your spine, back to your belly or your pelvis here. Inhale, exhale. So now let's match it again to the right leg stepping back as you inhale, and then step forward, exhale, and cut. Inhale and raise, exhale and cut. Oops. Inhale and raise, exhale and cut. Back to center momentarily. Let's switch over, shift your weight. Get the left side ready to move, the right side solid and ready to support you. Step back and raise. Step forward and cut. Inhale, exhale. All right, this time let's just alternate a little bit. So from center, we can do inhale and raise, come back to center and cut. Shift your weight. Inhale and raise on the other side. Come back to center to cut. So we have a little more symmetrical kind of exercise. I'm bringing my right foot forward as I inhale and raise, and then just returning on the exhale. Okay. Just slow down, inhale and sink, exhale and float up, rise. Sense your weight even between the 2 feet. Okay, this movement, I use it all the time just to come in to bow in for class. Remember, bowing is not religious at all. It's just Japanese cultural custom and a way to kind of bookend our practice, to mark the time and the space for practice. But even as I get ready to bow, bring that leg forward, and then I use that stability to make sure I put my knee down carefully, gently, it doesn't bang. Sit. Coming up from sitting, there's that same kind of sense of rise, bringing the leg forward, finding the ground clearly to come up, and here I am in this position. So it's kind of built into the very, very fundamental level of Iaido practice. Iaido is actually drawing the Japanese sword, wielding it and putting it back, or resheathing. But here in this class, we're working on the body movement of Iaido, the conditioning exercises, and we'll, as we progress through the winter term, we'll get into more of the actual Iaido forms, but just using your hand, your arm as a sword, and really focusing on this upper and lower body integration with breath, vision, and intention. Imagination is an important factor in Iaido. You have to imagine clearly what it is you're doing, what the situation is, and then you can globally recruit your body into powerful, calm movement, well supported by the ground. Let's finish for today.